Welcome to Math 220, the Quantitative Analysis for Business Students course. Today we're going to start Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is a review of the algebra skills needed to be successful in the remainder of the course. Once we leave Chapter 1, you're going to leave the review of algebra behind as we tackle new concepts more than the algebra concepts you already know. So in section 1.1, we start off with the Cartesian coordinate system, also known as the XY plane or the rectangular coordinate system. You've been looking at the Cartesian coordinate system since probably about 6th grade, so it should be a nice review to start our class. There's a handout, and what I'm going to do is follow along the handout, and we'll break it into several different recordings so that you can choose, which ones you need to look at and which ones you're comfortable with. This first one covers examples 1 and 2. I've already put the grid for example 1 on the board. It says refer to this figure and determine the coordinates of the point and the quadrant in which it's located. So we're going to come in and look at the points A, B, C, D, E, F. But before we do that, let's talk about quadrants and how the quadrants are named on this rectangular Cartesian coordinate system, the XY plane. So quadrant 1 is sitting right here. This is quadrant 2. They go counterclockwise. This is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. We use Roman numerals for the quadrant numbering. That's so we don't confuse it with the regular coordinate points that are inside. The scale itself is a 1 unit scale. So positive 1 in the X direction, negative 1 in the X direction, positive 1 in the Y direction, and negative 1 in the Y direction. So point A, if we count out where it is over 1, 2, 3 on the X and up 1, 2, 3 on the Y. So the coordinates for point A are at 3, 3. Again, when you write your points, you always write them as an X and a Y. They're in alphabetical order. And it shows us that point A is in quadrant 1. Okay, point B, which is over here, is in quadrant 2. And we're going to count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 5 in the X direction. And up 2 in the Y direction, positive. So positive 2. So it's a negative X and a positive Y, and it's in quadrant 2. Point C is over here. It's positive 2 in the X direction, but it's negative in the Y direction. We're going to go down to negative 2. So it's located at the point 2, negative 2, and it's in quadrant 4. Again, notice we're using parentheses to indicate their points. Point D, back over here, negative 2 in the X direction, and it looks like we're up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Y direction. So it's at negative 2, 5. Notice what a difference that is from the negative 5, 2 that was B. It's in quadrant 2. E, which is down here, so we're over in quadrant 3 now, is over at 1, 2, 3, negative 3, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So negative 3, negative 6. Actually, I think this is supposed to be at negative 4. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that, and down negative 6. So it's at negative 4, negative 6. Negative in both directions in quadrant 3. And finally, point F, which is over here. We'll count it off as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Checking to make sure it's actually at 8. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then down at negative 2. So just to match the handout itself in case you're looking at the handout. And that's in quadrant 4. Okay, so we've successfully matched up the coordinates of those points and the quadrants they're in. Example 2 starts off with another XY coordinate system with points clearly marked on it and asks, it simply says, refer to the following figure to answer each of the questions. And the first question wants to know what point is located at the coordinates negative 2, negative 3. So again, this is X, this is Y. So in terms of X, we're going left 2, so negative 2. And in terms of Y, we're going down 3, 1, 2, 3. Puts us at point B. So the answer to the question is point B is located at the coordinates of negative 2, negative 3. So you'll notice they're kind of working backwards from what we did before. Before they gave us the point and asked for the coordinates, here's the coordinates, what is the point that coordinates with that. So part B asks us, which points have a negative Y coordinate? Well, a negative Y coordinate means that it's below, in terms of the Y-axis, it's below the X-axis. So as we count down, we can see that E, F, and G will all have a negative Y coordinate. So E, F, and G all have that negative Y coordinate. Question C, part C says, which point has an X coordinate equal to 0? So an x coordinate of 0. So what they're saying is that I've got 0, comma something, and we need to figure out what this something is. Well, in order to have an x coordinate of 0, that means we're on top of the x-axis, we're on top of the y-axis because the x coordinate is 0. So make sure this is your x, this is a 0 of x. So we're looking at point F, which is at 0, -2, and that is point F. So its x coordinate is 0, its y coordinate is -2, and that's point F. If we were to look at point D just as a comment and to write out its coordinates, it's at what, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, -4, comma 0. So it has a y coordinate of 0. All the other points, A, B, C, E, and G, all have both a value for x and y that's non-0. And that's your introduction into the XY plane.